Hello, my name is Scribble, and this is the Week 5 battle analysis in the Soul Draft League. This week we are playing Soul himself, the person running this league. So if you haven't seen the team builder, be sure to check that out and you'll know what we brought and why. I didn't change anything from the team builder, we're just rolling with what we built. And yeah, so let's just get into the replay analysis, of course, starting with the team preview. And it looks like he just brought his top 6. The Ogre Pawn is Terra Water, obviously, it can't be anything else, and then nothing else on his team here can Terra. So, yeah, nothing super surprising off lead. So, there is really no reason for me to deviate from our game plan. We established Ting-Lu as our lead because it matches up well into 4 out of 6 of these Pokemon here, and if he leads Iron Valiant, we can go Talonflame. And if he leads Ogre Pawn, we can go Alolan Executor. And there isn't really much information to gain here because it's just the top 6 best Pokemon on his draft. So, and like the Iron Valiant, the Ogre Pawn, and the Darkrai, they can all be many different sets. Like, any one of them could be the win con, really, and I have no real way of knowing which one. So sometimes at Team Preview, you just don't get any helpful information, but sometimes I mean, you can't really do anything about it because that's just reliant on what your opponent has brought. But I guess one benefit of this happening is that there's probably not too many surprises on his team. I think, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it, because like, look at my draft, I benched Zapdos and Metagross for Alolan Executor and Talonflame. And like, when you see your opponent bring like a 2-pointer or however priced Alolan Executor is, you have to wonder why, right? But for his team, I don't really need to wonder why on everything. And this isn't really like a bad thing or like a critique, it's just like a fact. So even if you don't gain a lot of information from Terra Preview, you're probably not missing much. And like, sure, the different Pokemon could have cool tech, but it should probably go about as you'd expect. So, yeah, let's just start the battle. So I'm gonna lead with Ting-Lu, as he leads Rotom. And so in the team builder, I said I'm pretty sure he's going to bring Trick on something for my Ting-Lu, because Ting-Lu is an issue for his Darkrai, for his Rotom. It's honestly even an issue for his Valiant, because it can't really kill Ting-Lu in one hit from full, and we threaten Heavy Slam on Valiant. However, I did know that he would bring Trick, or, okay, I didn't know, but I expected him to bring Trick, and I'm okay with this, because my Ting-Lu does not really need to switch moves to still check what it needs to do, and like, it can still get up hazards. We do have both Stealth Rocks and Spikes. So we can just click buttons, we can pivot in on Darkrai mainly, that would be the main benefit. So if it gets tricked, it's not the end of the world, and if it does trick its Scarf, then that means it's one less option to outspeed our Deoxys, which is not running much speed this week. It's only got enough for +1 Iron Thorns, which means if any of his team members are Scarfed or booster speed, then it will outspeed Deoxys. But also, the fact that the Rotom is leading makes me think it could be Scarfed. You usually see Scarf Rotom lead. Or if Rotom Heat leads, it's more than likely Scarfed. That's not true for like the other Rotom forms, but I see mostly Scarf Rotom Heat as a lead. So I am thinking this is probably Scarfed, and if I get tricked, fine. But because I think it's Scarfed, I'm going to get my Rocks first, because it's going to severely limit the Rotom until he gets a Rapid Spin-Off with Iron Treads, or we can prevent that with our Annihilate. But he actually just Will-O-Wisps as I get at my Rocks. And so Ting-Lu dodges, I think it's 3rd Will-O-Wisp this season? Maybe it's 4th, honestly. So, I don't know. We have a very good Will-O-Wisp dodge rate, so I'll take it. We are packing Facade, so we kind of want to be burned. But he doesn't know that, so this is probably frustrating for him. But I'm just going to use this opportunity to get up a layer of Spike, as he just burns me. And here, I think he's going to hard switch into Iron Treads. The reason I think this is because I am now burned, which means I don't threaten a lot of damage anymore, at least in theory. And I got up 2 layers of hazards, and his team is hazard weak because Ogerpon can't run boots. This could still be scarfed, technically. Darkrai probably isn't boots. I would assume it's either scarfed or a resistance berry. And then Valiant doesn't like spikes. It's definitely not boots. It's probably like, I don't know, some sort of offensive item or a booster speed. So, I think he'll go Iron Tread. So I'm going to click Earthquake here. And like, I know Rotom's not going to stay in versus Ting-Lu. So it's not a risky click, but I do think it's incorrect. And the reason being is because, like, if he goes Iron Treads here, what does he do after? Like, I'm at full health. I can just stay in Earthquake the Iron Treads as he Rapid Spins, and then, like, I'll beat the Iron Treads 1v1, and then I can just get up my hazards again later. So he shouldn't go Iron Treads here. And I should have Facaded this turn, because it will do more damage to everything else. And so what he's going to do is go into his Ogerpon. And this is a good play, assuming I don't have Facade. And since I didn't click it, I may as well not have had Facade. But now he's going to exert offensive pressure on me. And I'm going to keep my Ting-Lu. I did consider staying in here to just Facade, because I actually do kill the Ogerpon with our attack investment after the Earthquake chip and the hazard damage. However, if he decides to Terra Water and just Ivy Cudgel me, I do die most of the time. So I didn't really want to risk that because I wanted to keep my Ting-Lu around for the Darkrai and the Rotom. And even if I did kill the Ogerpon, I make myself a lot weaker to the Darkrai if it weakens my Ting-Lu to the point where it's at like 7%. So I'm just going to go into my Alolan Executor. We are Harvest plus Roselli Berry, not Harvest Belly, whatever I said. But so Ogerpon's best move to hit Alolan Executor is Play Rough. So the idea is we can come in on Ogerpon, we 4 times resist both of its stabs, and if it has Play Rough coverage for us, then we have the damage of that with our Roselli Berry, and then we can harvest another Roselli Berry to continually wall the Ogerpon. And we even have like Sunny Day to weaken Ivy Cudgel and also give us a guaranteed harvest. After the battle, I sort of realized the strategy was kind of bad, because if the Ogerpon just has knockoff, then it just doesn't work. But, I mean, it's not bad, but it just wouldn't work as I expected. Because if it does have knockoff, the only way that punishes us is if it also has Play Rough. And then surely it has Ivy Cudgel, which means there's only 1 more move slot left. And if you're dedicating 2 move slots to an Alolan Executor, I think that's a win. So, I think this set is still good, because even if he had counterplay to it, then, it would have limited the Ogerpon in many other ways. But he actually just clicks Trailblaze here. I think this is a little greedy on his part, because, I'm probably Gale Wings Talonflame because of your Iron Valiant, so being faster isn't super nice, because I do have priority Brave Bird. I also still have priority Comfy, and I have my Alolan Executor at full health. So, Trailblaze, I think, is just too weak, because if I just go Alolan Executor, then now I'm forcing you out, and even if I don't, then Trailblaze isn't going to get you a lot out of the turn. So, I don't know his set at this point, so I don't know what he could have clicked instead if he had, like, I don't know, because Alolan Executor does pretty much wall this if it doesn't have Play Rough. If he had Play Rough, he could have clicked it. It also hits Ting-Lu staying in. But I do understand. Well, okay. He Trailblazed, predicting I would switch out with Ting-Lu, obviously, because if he thought I would stay in, he would just Ivy Cudgel. But if he's going to predict me switching out, then I think Trailblaze just doesn't work, because I have my Alolan Executor and all my priority. So I am going to force out the Ogerpon, and this is actually very nice because now it's going to take 24%. Wait, no, it does 12.5. So it's going to take 25% the next time it comes in, and unless he Rapid Spins, of course. So the Ogerpon's basically dead. And that's huge because our draft is pretty water weak. We just have Alolan Executor to save us here. He goes Rotom as I just Wood Hammer. I Wood Hammer here because it hits Uxie and Iron Treads harder. I knew he could go Rotom, but I thought maybe he would predict a Dragon move and go Iron Treads to live a Grass plus Dragon move, but Rotom makes sense too. That's fine. He does reveal Boots, though, so it's not Scarfed, which is good information. I take a little bit of Recoil. I'm just going to go into my Ting-Lu to block Volt Switch specifically, because if he's going to make a double here, that's fine with me, because he's going to take even more Hazard Chip with Rocks and Spikes. And if he Volt Switches, then I just get a free Facade. And if he clicks anything else, my Ting-Lu will just eat it up. What did he click? I think he clicks Pain Split? No, he just Wisps again. So, I don't know about Will-O-Wisp here either, because of Ting-Lu is the very obvious switch. So I think, like, Overheat probably makes more sense. But I do understand Will-O-Wisping, because I did reveal Physical with Wood Hammer. But I could be mixed very easily with, like, Draco Meteor afterward. And I don't have Draco, but that might have just killed the Rotom. But I guess then I put myself in, like, an awkward position with the Valiant or something. But I do still have my Talonflame and Comfy. I don't know. But Will-O-Wisp works out for me. Here I click Facade, thinking I should have clicked Facade initially. But this time he does go Treads, which reveals Boots as well. And Facade does, like, nothing. But now that Iron Treads is in, I decide to just Earthquake this. I think he's going to predict me switching into my Spin Blocker the first time, but he just gets up his Rocks first as I Earthquake, and it is a 2-hit KO. And I can go into Annihilate here if I want to block Rapid Spin, but I'm not going to. And the reason is because I really do not want to risk him clicking Knock Off this turn. If he clicks Knock Off this turn, then I'm going to lose my Choice Scarf on Annihilate. And I think that's a reasonable thing to do if he's going to predict me blocking Rapid Spin. Because now I've weakened the Iron Treads with Ting-Lu, and now I probably don't want these hazards to go away, because I spent a whole 2 turns setting them up. I led with them. They're probably important to my game plan, and they are. But if my Annihilate gets knocked off, then my endgame looks a lot worse, because now I'm relying on Deoxys solely as my win con. And Deoxys is going to, I mean, it works, but Deoxys is kind of walled by Uxie, whereas Annihilate doesn't really have a clear wall to it. Annihilate can just sort of click buttons a lot easier. So I just don't want the flexibility taken away from me. So even if he clicks Rapid Spin here, I decide I can just get my hazards up again later with the Iron Treads gone, and so I'm just going to kill it. And he does Rapid Spin. So if I had gone Annihilate, it would have worked, but I stand by my decision to just kill this, because I can always get up hazards on, like, Uxie or even Darkrai, honestly, or Rotom. Because I have Facade, I'm not passive either. So good work from Ting-Lu. In comes Iron Valiant. So Iron Valiant coming in now does not have booster energy, which means it's probably Specs. That's my best guess here. Threatening, like, Specs Moonblast. The funny thing is, I actually do live a timid Specs Moonblast from this health, because Ting-Lu is just insane. But a modest Specs Moonblast does have I think it's a roll in his favor to kill me, and he can go modest here. In fact, because he's not booster speed, he's almost definitely modest, because he would need timid to get the booster speed. But if he's not booster speed, then he can go modest, because the fastest thing on my Zapdos can outspeed is Zapdos, and it can outspeed that with a modest nature. So yeah, so it's sort of the same logic with the Ogerpon before, where I can stay into Facade if I want to, but there's a roll to kill me with Moonblast, and even if I do survive, and I'll do like 50% to the Valiant, even if I do survive, then I'm a lot weaker to the Darkrai, and even the Rotom could get a little bit annoying, so I don't really want to risk that. My Talonflame will only die to Specs Thunderbolt, and that is a pretty brave click into Ting-Lu here when I have Facade and can 2-hit KO this. So I'm just going to go Talonflame, as he does reveal Specs Moonblast, so basically just as I thought. And now I force out the Valiant as I Roost. Rotom makes sense. I Roost because I want to be a switch in for the Valiant again if I so choose. And Rotom coming in isn't a huge deal for me because I can always go into my Ting-Lu. Oh wait, no. I go into my Comfy here, right. So the reason why I go into Comfy here is because I do think, I'm predicting him to double switch. Because now there's Stealth Rocks on my side, which means I'm going to lose progress if we just enter a switch war. I went into Ting-Lu the first time on the Rotom, and now that hazards aren't up on his side, doesn't lose much by just going into like Ogerpon or Valiant. I guess the drawback is if I click a, what is the drawback? Here, let's just go back to this turn. Yeah, so I guess the drawback is like, if I click Brave Bird here, then he just loses his Ogerpon or Valiant. But I have, like, no human being clicks Brave Bird here. Because, if I do, then, and the Rotom just clicks a Volt Switch, then I just lose my Talonflame for no reason. So, I go Comfy here. Comfy covers his double into Valiant, mostly. That is the primary target. And, it at least threatens the Ogerpon a little bit with priority Giga Drain or just some other nonsense. Because I am Terra Water on Comfy. I could Terra out of my water neutrality, I guess, if I want to. And because I am Terra Water, I think if the Rotom decides to stay in this turn, it might be scared out by Terra Water Terra Blast. So there's another upside. And I guess the last benefit is if he just... Well, yeah, I guess just staying in with Rotom. Comfy doesn't care too much, and it can Synthesis later. So basically, all that explanation is just to say that Comfy is mainly predicting him to double switch, but it's also covering the Rotom staying in and clicking one of its normal moves. We call this a mid-ground play, because I'm not entirely sure what he wants to do, but I don't want to lose a ton of momentum to him making an aggressive double switch. And so Comfy was my best means of covering basically all of his options this turn. What does he do? He elects to Pain Split, actually. So Pain Split is meant to hit my Ting-Lu to get his health back. That makes sense. Ting-Lu has a ton of HP. It would actually probably do a lot of damage to Ting-Lu. But Comfy has very low base HP, so Pain Split's not going to do a lot to me, which is nice. So I think he'll be scared out by Terra Water Terra Blast, maybe. So I'm going to knock off here, trying to hit, I guess, the Uxie. Well, yeah, Uxie would be his switch. So I just knock off, and it also is my best move to hit Rotom if it stays in, but it's faster than me and just clicks Volt Switch. So I knock off the Uxie, and I get rid of its Rocky Helmet. This Uxie is revealed to be like max physical defense on this hit. And so I'm not worried about the Uxie at all, so I'm just going to Synthesis. And as it clicks Giga Drain, and so when it clicks Giga Drain, I am a little bit confused. And the reason why I'm confused is because Stealth Rocks is on Iron Treads. If Stealth Rock is on Iron Treads, then that means Uxie doesn't have Stealth Rock. And it has Giga Drain, and it's rare for Uxie to have an offensive coverage move. So in my head, I'm like, is this a Calm Mind Uxie? And like, it's max physical defense. And so I think it might be Calm Mind. But the good thing is I always have my Annihilate. Uxie is not very strong, like, offensively. And I still have my Ting-Lu healthy. So, like, if this starts Calm Minding, then I can just go into, like, my Annihilate or Ting-Lu, and I can deal with it that way. And, like, one thing I can do is I can go Ting-Lu and spam Facade until I die, if it really gets that dire, and then I can just go Annihilate and revenge it afterward. But, if it's not Calm Mind, then it's just Synthesis fodder, as it clicks Psyshock here. So I still think it could be Calm Mind. But, this time I go into Ting-Lu, now that my Comfy is healthy. As he just Psyshocks again. Going Ting-Lu now is better because it's less likely that he'll click Giga Drain. So I go into my Ting-Lu. What do? I think I just click Facade here. Oh no, I get my spikes. Right. Okay, so I get up my spikes predicting him to stay in with his Uxie and like Calm Mind maybe because I don't have Whirlwind. So I thought he would just stay in, but like I don't know if he's Calm Mind or not, but even if he is Calm Mind, it's like not a big deal. So like I'm okay to just like sit on the Uxie, and so I get my spikes back up. Spikes are nice because they do break potential focus sashes. The Valiant... Oh, wait, no. The Valiant is confirmed specs. The Darkrai could be focus sash still at this point. And even if I think it's unlikely, it is good to remove the possibility. Maybe Facade is better, but no. I stand by Spikes here. Maybe not with the rationale I said, because I think Spikes to break potential focus sash and just weaken Darkrai into Annihilate range is better, because the Uxie is no real threat. So here I think for a little bit, because I went into Talonflame last time, but last time I didn't know he was specs, and so I sort of scattered with that. Now, because he's specs, he surely has Thunderbolt, because Talonflame is the obvious switch in to Iron Valiant in like prepping. So he could predict me switching into Talonflame and click Thunderbolt here. However, I ration that if he does that, then like I can just go back into Ting-Lu and basically I pick a Pokemon with Facade. Like, he doesn't have any Facade switch-ins at this point with Iron Tread's dead. Or I could go into my Deoxys, or I could go into my Annihilate. So basically, if he clicks Thunderbolt here, he's in like a really precarious situation, because now I basically pick a Pokemon, and he also doesn't know that my Annihilate is Scarfed yet. So that could also come into play if like we get into this sack war and then eventually my Annihilate comes in and then I can just surprise revenge something. But anyway, I decide I'm gonna go Talonflame anyway. It covers him staying in with Moonblast, and if he clicks Thunderbolt, then so be it. But he clicks Moonblast and he crits me, but that's fine, it doesn't really matter. He goes back into Rotom Heat as I Roost again. Same logic the last time. I just want this to be an option to switch to Valiant once again. This time I Roost to get more healthy with my Talonflame. Roost here removes my flying typing, so I'm not going to die to Volt Switch. If he Will-O-Wisps or overheats me, then it's like a big upside. If he Pain Splits, then it's going to do nothing. So it's just me being a little more greedy for extra health, but he does elect to Volt Switch, but it's okay. I end up with more health than I had before, and this time he goes into Darkrai. It takes the spike, so Sash is broken, it's not Boots. I do believe the Darkrai is Scarfed or a Resistance Berry. I think those are the only two items that really make sense. Scarf to revenge Deoxys, and a Resistance Berry to either surprise live a fighting attack from Deoxys, or it's the Roselli Berry to live Draining Kiss from Comfey. Between the two, I honestly don't know which is more likely, because it could also just be Scarfed. There's no Scarfer on the team, so I think it's actually a little more likely to be Scarfed here. So I'm just going to go into my Ting-Lu to scout, basically, as he nasty plots. So it's not Scarfed, so there is no Scarfer on the team, which means that both my Deoxys and Annihilate outspeed everything, which is like huge, because that means both of them are viable win cons. We do need to get rid of the Uxie for Deoxys to win, because our best move to hit it is Knockoff, and we already got rid of its helmet, so it's going to do less damage. So Darkrai nasty plots. And you know what the crazy thing is here? So I get a little bit of health back from leftovers, but Burn just negates it. So here at 72% health, if the Darkrai has Focus Blast, it just guarantees kills me, assuming it hits. But if it doesn't, and its best move to hit me is Ice Beam, I actually guarantee live, assuming this isn't a boosting item. Which is ridiculous. This is a +2 Darkrai. We're not even max special defense on Ting-Lu. But, and this is assuming Modest Darkrai as well, because he can go Modest. And so, Modest +2 Ice Beam guarantees does not kill my Ting-Lu from this health. So, unless he has Focus Blast, then it doesn't matter. Or if he's a boosting item. But I really think now he's a Resistance Berry, because I have Deoxys and Comfey as very easy revenge killers for this. So if this is a nasty plot set, it's probably his win con, or like, because Iron Valiant is already a breaker. I guess Ogerpon is Trailblaze, so that's probably his main win con. But because I have my Executor, that's sort of stonewalling it right now, so he kind of has to pivot to the Darkrai set. And so I think this is a Resistance Berry. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Facade, because I guarantee live Ice Beam, and Facade is going to put it in range. Even if it has a Resistance Berry, it's going to put it in range of my Deoxys or Comfey. So, and And then he also has a chance to miss Focus Blast. So we're just playing to the odds are in our favor here, basically. Because first he has to have Focus Blast, and then he has to hit Focus Blast. And he also, if he is a damage boosting item, it doesn't matter. But let's just assume it's a Resistance Berry. So I just Facade as he switches out, and so he switches out there. Well, him switching out there confirms to me that his best move to hit me is either Ice Beam or not at all, and he saw that I did not die to it. And so that's why he switched out, and he goes into Valiant, which takes 58 from Facade. So it dies to the next Facade. What do? I just go back into my Talonflame here. It's the same logic as last time this happened. If he clicks Thunderbolt, I can go back into my Ting-Lu and claim a kill. And going Ting-Lu is even like better for me now, because I'm now more willing to sack it because I know the Darkrai is not Scarfed. And because it's not Scarfed, then I can offensively check it with both my Deoxys and Annihilate. And Comfy could always offensively check it. So Darkrai is like not a big threat to me anymore. So I just go into my Talonflame as he Moonblasts again. I believe I just Roost as he goes into Darkrai this time. So here I can go into Ting-Lu if I want to. I can also go into Comfy. But here I'm going to actually Flare Blitz. So the reason I Flare Blitz here is because I'm sort of going for game now. Because if I put this Darkrai into Scarf, Terra Blast, Ghost range of Annihilate, everything is in range now, except the Rotom. And I think the Uxie can live one, but Uxie is not going to do significant damage to me. Rotom could burn me, though. But basically, I'm very close to just winning with Annihilate, and so I just want to take the damage on Darkrai. I don't really need my Talonflame anymore. Iron Valiant is in Draining Kiss range from Comfy. I can always revenge it with Deoxys or Annihilate. And it only has a couple more switch-ins before it dies to Spikes as well. So if Talonflame dies here, then so be it. And Flare Blitz here also has a huge upside of if he clicks Nasty Plot again, then I just 2-hit KO the Darkrai for free. And I Flare Blitz over Brave Bird because it has a chance to burn, so it's just better. So I Flare Blitz, I do 43%. I take Recoil, and he Ice Beams, and he crits me. So I didn't notice this crit me during the game. After the game, I checked, and this Ice Beam actually, this crit mattered. I guaranteed lived Ice Beam, even from Modest, because you'll see he's not a damage boosting item here. So if I had lived, then I could have just Flare Blitzed again. He could have gone into his Rotom. Maybe I Roost, actually. I don't know, but it becomes a little more complicated. But it doesn't matter too much. It's not the end of the world. We don't need our Talonflame anymore, and now I can go into Annihilate. I think for a while here before deciding to go Annihilate, part of it is me considering, like, what's the best positioning? Do I want to go Deoxys, Comfy, or Annihilate? Those are my three options to revenge kill this. I decided against Deoxys because I can't do anything to the Uxie, and I don't have rocks up to pressure it. So I think Deoxys is just going to be worse than Annihilate. I also consider Comfy, but Comfy can't do anything to Rotom. But Annihilate can do something to all of them. I really want to click Terra Blast Ghost here, but unfortunately I can't. It's a roll to kill at this health, assuming he has some HP investment. I believe 80 HP is what I calculated with, because that's how much HP he could have if he was Modest and speed creeping my Zapdos. So that was just my baseline to assume. So I decide to U-turn here. I do think for a very long time before going into Annihilate, which maybe made him doubt what I was doing, because maybe he thinks my Deoxys doesn't have a fighting move or something, or like maybe I'm expecting this to have Sucker Punch, or like, I don't know. But I go Annihilate here, and I think there's a chance he could stay in, not expecting me to be Scarfed. So I'm going to U-turn here because it guarantees kills the Darkrai, and it also covers him switching out into something. I can just pick up a kill with like Ting-Lu or Deoxys or Comfy, depending on what he goes into. But I just U-turn. I Terra Ghost here too. He does stay in, and I kill the Darkrai with U-turn, which is wonderful. I Terra Ghost, even though I don't have to at this point, because I want to be able to switch into Moonblast now that my Talonflame is dead. I mean, ideally I don't have to, but like if I have to, then I want the option. So I kill the Darkrai, and I go into Deoxys here. So why did I go into Deoxys over anything else? The reason is because I want to force in the Uxie or the Rotom. I don't want the Valiant or the Ogerpon to get in. And it's going to put more offensive momentum on my side because this Uxie is pressured to do something about the Deoxys. I could be Specs Shadow Ball for all he knows. And so, if he has some sort of tech for Deoxys, this is his opportunity to click it. Because otherwise Deoxys does just win. Like, it outspeeds everything, kills everything if I am just, like, offensive. But I just go into my Ting-Lu. Because I am walled by the Uxie. He doesn't know that, though, as he clicks Shadow Ball. I really have no idea what the Uxie's last move is. But now I can just pick up a kill with Facade, as he elects to sack his Ogerpon. Facade is just going to 2-hit KO or OHKO everything. And in comes Valiant, I believe? Yeah. So Valiant can only switch in one more time before it dies to Spikes. So what do I do here? I just sack my Alolan Executor. Yeah, makes sense. Ogerpon is dead, so Alolan Executor doesn't do anything anymore. So it didn't do much this game, but it did like stonewall the Ogerpon. So that is more than not much. So even though he didn't get any kills, I am happy with Alolan Executor's performance once again. So he deserves his rest. And I go into Annihilate here because it's just going to outspeed. It guarantees a kill. I Terra Blast because it's stronger than Rage Fist right now because I haven't been attacked yet. In comes Rotom Heat. I don't have to switch, but I don't really want to take a Will-O-Wisp. And Ting-Lu is just going to wall everything. Overheat does nothing. 27. And I can just Facade. He goes into Uxie. Facade does how much? 27. Actually, like nothing, because this Uxie is like max physical defense. But Uxie doesn't really do anything to me in return. Here he doubles into his Rotom. I guess, like, predicting me to go Annihilate, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm just going to click Facade until I die, basically. Facade 2-hit KOs the Rotom. He overheats, and I live on 1 HP, which is really cool, as Ting-Lu picks up another kill. And now the game is over, and comes Uxie. I can just sack my Ting-Lu, but, like, I can preserve differential by going hard Annihilate here. I never die to Shadow Ball crit, so it's always safe, and then I just guarantee kill with Rage Fist the next turn. And I get another Annihilate kill, which is cool because he is our MVP. And that'll be the game. We win 4-0. So, pretty good game on our part, I think. I think the Annihilate set was super strong. With how limited his Ghost resists were, like it's literally just Darkrai, and the Ogerpon can't be Scarfed, the Valiant wasn't booster speed. And so this was really hard for him to answer. And I think to have had a chance of winning the game, he probably had to come in with a different build with this set specifically in mind, like this Scarf Terra Ghost Annihilate, because I don't really know how his current build deals with it. And that's okay. Sometimes you just like miss a set in prep. I believe he told me after the game he expected Terra Ghost on Annihilate, but he didn't expect Choice Scarf, and I think that's understandable. Scarf Annihilate isn't... Well, Scarf Annihilate is, like, probably one of its best sets in Draft, but, otherwise it's not very common. And, oh, yes. Also, after the game, he showed me that the last move on Uxie was Psych Up. So, the idea of the Uxie was to Psych Up Comfy's Calm Mind boosts and then, like, reverse sweep me. But, yeah, because I didn't bring Calm Mind Comfy, it unfortunately did not get to do anything. I did disregard Setup Comfy pretty quickly because I wanted, if I was going to be Setup Comfy, I think it needed Terra, and I wanted Terra Ghost Annihilate for the Scarf endgame idea. And, okay, so I talked a lot about Annihilate, but the real MVP of this was Facade Ting-Lu, because Ting-Lu just walled everything, it just lived every hit, and it got 3 kills, I think. Yeah, 3 kills, and it also got up 3 hazard layers throughout the course of the game, which was super impactful. So, Ting-Lu and Annihilate, this was their grand performance. Talonflame had a good debut, much better than Noivern. Deoxys did not do anything besides make a guest appearance, but that's okay. Like, Annihilate just sort of did its job for it. Deoxys was there if we needed it. Alolan Executor stonewalled the Ogerpon. After the game, he showed me his Ogerpon did not have Play Rough, so it didn't have knockoff either, so our Executor really did just hard wall the Ogre Pawn. So Ogre Pawn was never going to do anything as long as our Executor was around. And Comfy didn't do a whole lot either, but it was always there if we needed it, right? Because it could revenge kill Darkrai and Iron Valiant, and that's like super rare in a Pokemon, right? Because even if one of them was Scarf or Booster Speed, then Comfy had the priority Draining Kiss. So, pretty good game. I'm happy with how we played, and I'm also happy with the prep. So, I believe this guarantees our playoff slot. I'm not entirely sure, but we are 5-0, and there are 2 more weeks left of preliminary rounds. So, yeah, we should be locked in for playoffs. I believe we are first in the standings currently. So yeah, that'll be that. I will see you all next week for the, sorry, I tripped up on my words there. Yeah, okay. Woo, let's start over. Okay. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next week for the Team Builder versus Tree Stain, I think, is who we are playing. All right, I will see you then. Bye-bye.